Hello. Hello, another video for Kings of War, and this time we are talking about the Varengur. The Varengur live close to the Northern Alliance, and in a way they are kind of like the Northern Alliance. They are not the good guys, however. They serve under a wicked one, which are kind of like the evil gods. You've got the shining ones, good gods. Wicked ones, evil gods. However, this wicked one is not great friends with the Abyss, unlike most wicked ones. So, yeah, they're not on good terms with the Abyss. In fact, you cannot align with any Abyssals or Abyssal Dwarves. So, if you want to do that, do not pick the Varengur or the Northern Alliance, because the Northern Alliance are good. If you are reading along, you'll need to be on page 273 in the big rulebook and page 109 in the Uncharted Empires 3rd edition book. They are evil, and their army special upgrade is Snow Fox. This unit has +1 attack. Fairly standard, but okay, fine. Called Hatred. Kurgan, which is the old god they serve. Kurgan's extreme hatred of the Abyss means Varengur armies cannot ally with the following armies: Abyssal Dwarves, Forces of the Abyss, Twilight Kin. Now, this brings something up. It does say in the rulebook you cannot have themed lists as allies. Twilight Kin are a themed list. Is there something I'm missing? So, starting with the infantry, and starting with the Draugr. Speed 4, melee 5+, defense 3+. Regiment 12 attacks, nerve, -14, 75 points. Horde 25 attacks, nerve, -21, 125 points. Legion 30 attacks, nerve, -27, 180 points. They've got Iron Resolve and Wild Charge D3. These, if you played Skyrim, which chances are, because it's like the cockroach of gaming, chances are you will have. If you go into the many tombs, you will see things that kind of look like they're recently dead, really tough, hard, zombie-esque people. They're not zombies, but they're called Draugr or Draugr or something like that. They're kind of like that. Good number of attacks. They've got Iron Resolve, so they can heal themselves when they take damage. That's great. Wild Charge D3, so minimum charge range of 9, maximum charge range of 11. Still pretty decent. 30 attacks on a Legion, 25 attacks on a Horde. They're fearless and a good nerve value. 180 points for a Legion. Whew. That's fairly good. And 125 points for a Horde. That's cheap. That's really cheap. Next we have the Reavers. Speed 6, melee 4+, defense 3+. Troop 20 attacks, nerve, -13, 135 points. Regiment 25 attacks, nerve, -17, 210 points. Crush strength 1, thunderous charge 1. Upgrade with Mark of the Reaper, gaining Light Leaf 2 for 15 points for a troop, 20 points for a regiment. I take them as a troop. The extra 75 points to make them a regiment, I feel, is a tad much. They're fearless, they've got 20 attacks, they've got Crush Strength 1 and Thunderous Charge 1. Defense is a bit low, but this sort of unit's kind of expected to be. Take them as a regiment to unlock stuff, yeah. And the nerve, nerve being -17 is pretty decent, so it's one of them berserker units I can kind of see the point in making them a regiment. Next we have the Human Clansman. Speed 5, melee 4+, defense 5+. Troop 10 attacks, nerve 911, 90 points. Regiment 12 attacks, nerve 1315, 140 points. Horde 25 attacks, nerve 2022, 230 points. Crush strength 1 from wild charge 1. So charge range of 11 inch, not bad. Can exchange shields for two-handed weapons, lowering defense to 4 and gaining crush strength 2 for free. That doesn't mean they have total of crush strength 3. It means they have crush strength 2 if you do that. The Human Clansmen aren't bad. You can make them a regiment, which 12 attacks is a bit poor, but it is what it is. Have them as a horde, 230 points is a bit expensive, but crush strength 1 and a charge range of 11, it's nothing to sneeze about. Yeah, I mean, you could give them two-handed weapons, give them crush strength 2, does make them a bit softer, but 25 attacks with crush strength 2, that's really, really horrible. Next we have the Heavy Infantry, and they are the Huskars. Speed 5, melee 3+, defense 5+. Troop 15 attacks, nerve 1113, 145 points. Regiment 20 attacks, nerve 1517, 225 points. Crush strength 2, fury and wild charge 1. These are a good unit and they are pretty good points wise, hitting on 1-3s with crush strength 2, fury, so even if they're wavering they can still countercharge, which is great. They've got a charge range of 11 inch, which again is pretty good. They are one of the most expensive infantry units in this list, but crush strength 2 with defense of 5, hitting on 3s. Attacks ain't bad either. A troop of 15 attacks, it's not bad. You'd probably go with a unit of Reavers to have more attacks because they're a berserker unit. But, I mean, regiment with a nerve of 15-17, that's not bad either. That's not bad either. Next we have the Large Infantry, and they are the Fallen. And they are irregular. Speed 8, melee 3+, defense 5+. Regiment 9 attacks, nerve 1214, 155 points. Horde 18 attacks, nerve 1517, 255 points. 100 points difference, yow. Crush strength 1, Iron Resolve, Nimble and Pathfinder. They're alright. Hits and 3s in close combat, most need 4, so yeah, can see that. Iron Resolve, which heals wounds, which is great. Nimble Pathfinder, gets some advantages on the train, which is again great. Crush strength 1, which is a bit low, but at least you've got it. Man, the points cost is a bit awkward. Couldn't have rounded it to 150 points and 250 points? Oh well. They are regular, which I'd probably go all out and just make them a horde. Just if you're a regular, you might as well just go all out and just hoard them out, to be honest. That's just me. Next we have the Swarm, and there's only one. It is the Snow Foxes, and they are regular. Speed 8, melee 5+, defense 2+. 10 attack, regiment 10 attacks. Nerve 911, 80 points. They've got Nimble, Pathfinder, and Stealthy and Vicious in melee. They're not a bad Swarm unit. They've got Stealthy and Vicious in melee, which isn't bad. They've got Speed of 8, which pretty quick. Height 1, so they can hide behind other units and then charge in, preferably with someone else. Otherwise, they're not going to do much with 10 attacks. They're cheap. That's the main thing with them. They are cheap. Other than that, there's probably better ways to spend your 80 points, to be honest, but they're not awful. There's a point in taking them, I guess. Next we have the Cavalry, starting with the Mounted Sons of Corrigan. Speed 8, melee 3+, defense 5+. Troop 9 attacks, nerve 12, 14, 140 points. Regiment 18 attacks, nerve 15, 17, 215 points. Crush strength 1, thunder charge 1. Can be upgraded with a brand of the warrior, gaining brutal for 5 points for a troop, 10 points for a regiment, or upgrade with guise of the deceiver, gaining stealthy for 5 points for a troop, or 10 points for a regiment. I'm assuming you can't take both because it's a or. You can't go either or have both, which is a shame, but it does give you options. Brutal is nice when you're getting your charge in. Stealthy is also nice. It also helps with getting your charge in because you're gonna get these are gonna get shot at a lot, and having stealthy minimises that a lot. These are your heavy cavalry, but because they've got crush strength 1, they're not relying completely on Thunder's charge. It's there, and if they don't get the charge off, it's going to hurt them a fair bit, but at least you've got something that means if they don't charge, you're not completely wasted. Next we have the Horse Raiders, and they are irregular. Speed 8, melee 4+, range 5+, defense 4+. Troop 7 attacks, nerve 10, 12, 105 points. Regiment 14 attacks, nerve 13, 15, 165 points. Nimble, thunder charge 1, and they've got short bows which are 18-inch range, steady aim. Exchange short bows for throwing axes which are 12-inch range, piercing 1, steady aim for 3. Sort of see the point in that because it's 6 inch less, yeah, but you can move and shoot without penalty, so you've got a shoot range with a short bow of 26 and a 20-inch shoot range with the throwing axes. You've also got piercing on the throwing axes, so there is a point in taking them. There is a point in charging them into close combat, but that's not what they're there for. They are there to just harass enemies, running around, shooting them. I'd probably always take the throwing axes, because that way you're going to move in, throw stuff around, chop, chop, chop. You could say, well, why don't I just charge in then? Their defense is 4, their 4's in close combat. For that, you might as well go for the Mounted Sons. The Mounted Sons are more expensive, but they do the job a little bit better. Next, we have the Tundra Wolves. They are also irregular. Speed 9, melee 3+, defense 4+. Troop 9 attacks, nerve 10, 12, 115 points. Regiment 18 attacks, nerve 13, 15, 180 points. They've got nimble and thunder charge 1. With these are kind of like your midpoint between the Mounted Sons and the Horse Raid. Well, the lower end of the spectrum, I suppose. They're also shorter in height, which means you can hide them behind your own units and charge them into the sides when and where necessary. These could be a good unit to have with the human infantry, hoard the human infantry out, or have them with the supporting the Draeger, have the Draeger going in first, and then the Tundra Wolves going around the side. I can see it working really well with that. All of the cavalry have got a use here. Like I said, with the Tundra Wolves, have them charging in, supporting other units, probably doing a combined charge. The Horse Raiders harass enemy units, peppering them with shots, and the Mounted Sons of Corrigan are your heavy cavalry, so get stuck in there with them. They're the slowest, but still really nice. Next we have the Monstrous Infantry. They are the Snow Trolls. Speed 6, melee 4+, defense 5+. Regiment 9 attacks, nerve 12, 15, 130 points. Horde 18 attacks, nerve 13, 15, 18, 220 points. Crush Trip 2, regeneration 5+, vicious in melee, wild charge 1. So charge range of 13. Good attacks, they've got regeneration, which is nice. They've got vicious in melee, which is a nice upgrade, which is a nice thing to have, I guess. All shades are pretty good, all things considering. Nerve of 12, 15 on a regiment is really fantastic for the points cost. Take them as a regiment or horde. You won't be disappointed in either case, I don't think. I really don't think so. The main downside, I'd say, is that they hit on 4s rather than 3s. And the base size means they're a bit easier to charge because it's a 50mm base. So it's a 150 long sort of thing. So I suppose that's really the only downsides. Apart from that, all shades are pretty good. Next we have the large cavalry. They are the Frostfang cavalry. Speed 7, melee 4+, defense 5+. Regiment 15 attacks, nerve 12-14, 160 points. Horde 330 attacks, not 300. Let's start again, shall I? Next we have the large cavalry, and they are the Frostfang cavalry. Speed 7, melee 4+, defense 5+. Regiment 15 attacks, nerve 12-14, 160 points. Horde 30 attacks, nerve 15-17, 265 points. Crush strength 2, Strider, wild charge 1. So they've got a charge range of 15, nice. Crush strength 2, hitting on 4s with 15 or 30 attacks, nerve isn't bad. They've got Strider, which helps with terrain. They're not bad points wise, a little bit expensive, but considering the amount of attacks and speed they are, it's kind of expected to be that. They are what they are, and they are really, really nice models. And the thing with them is, you look at the models, it's a massive, I want to say bear, tundra beastie thing, kind of like the Wampers from Star Wars, but way bigger with horns. They're just all round big monsters, and your opponent's going to see them and think, what the hell am I facing? Your opponent's going to charge them and shoot them a lot, which unfortunately means they are going to go down quick. But it does mean your opponent's going to be focusing on them rather than your other stuff. Maybe. Next we have the monsters. Starting with the Jabberwock. Speed 7, melee 4+, defense 5+. 7 attacks, nerve 15-17, 165 points. It's got brutal, crush strength 1, nimble, strider, thunderous charge 1. Feeding frenzy. In addition to its base 7 attacks, this unit has a number of additional attacks equal to the number of damage already on the unit it is attacking in melee at the start of the melee phase. Option, gain the range attack Rancid Bile, which is 12-inch range. Hits on 4s, vicious at range, steady aim for 15 points. Makes it 180 points, not a bad upgrade, not bad. Roll once to wound, not bad. It's not a bad monster. It's there for mopping up when an enemy's taken a lot of damage. You could have this near your Drager or your Huskars, I guess. Have it near anything, I think would be good. Have whatever it's near charging first, and then the turn after have that charge in, and then decimate the enemy. It's got 7 attacks. I mean, this could have a ridiculous amount of wounds of attacks on it, and because it's of speed 7 and it's got nimble and strider, yeah, that's going to hurt a fair bit. It's also got brutal, which after causing however much damage it's going to cause, more ways to cause nerve. Just power. Next we have the Cavern Dweller. Speed 6, melee 3+, defense 5+. Attacks D6+6, nerve 16-18, 210 points. Crush strength 3, large leaf 3, strider. So it's a lot more simple than the Jabberwock. It's a bit slower. It's also more expensive. It's got better crush strength. It's also got large leaf on it, so it can do some healing, which is nice. Both got strider. The Cavern Dweller's got a minimum attacks of 7, maximum attacks of 12, which is nice. Even with a minimum attacks of 7, Crush Strength 3, that's just repellent. Nerve of 16, 18. It's a shame it isn't fearless, and the background describes it as being blind or hard or doesn't have good eyesight, so I don't understand why it's not fearless. So hey ho. It is expensive, but it does what it does fairly well of just being an absolute powerhouse. Charge it in, do some wounds. It might die, but if it doesn't, get him there some more. Next we have the War Engines. There's only one, and here's the Mage's Conclave. Speed 5, range 4+, defense 3+. 2 attacks, nerve 11, 13, 100 points. It's got nimble and stealthy. Blood bolts, which are 36-inch range. Blast D3, piercing 2, steady aim. Upgrade with a Familius, gaining elite at range with blood bolts for 10 points. Not a bad upgrade. It's fairly cheap, you can move and shoot with it. Maximum hits of 1, maximum hits of 6, 100 points. It's a bit expensive, but you can move and shoot with it without penalty, which is nice for a war machine. It's kind of like a bolt thrower, except a bit slower and a bit weaker defense wise. But as it's a war machine, if it gets charged, it's going to be dead anyway. Have it harassing units, at least can move and shoot, and so technically it's got a 41-inch charge range. So yeah, it is a bit shorter range, but still 36-inch, and you can move and shoot with it. Ain't much of a downside. Next we have the Titans. It is the Frost Giant. Spellcaster rank 0. Speed 7, melee 4+, defense 5+. Attacks D6 +8. Nerve 18, 20, 230 points. Brutal, crush strength 4, Strider. It's got icy breath 8. Chances are you'll be charging in instead of casting icy breath, but it's there. It slows enemies down. Brutal, crush strength 4, minimum attacks of 9, maximum attacks of 14. It's got Strider, so helps with terrain there. 230 points is really good. You could compare it to the Cavern Dweller, I suppose, but it's only 20 points more for better speed, better crush strength. It's got brutal, a range attack if you want it, better nerve. You go for the Frost Giant over the Cavern Dweller pretty much any day. The only reason you go for the Cavern Dweller is it's got Light Leaf and it hits on 3s rather than 4s. The Jabberwock's in its own little thing where it's there to mop up enemies. You can't really compare it to the Cavern Dweller or the Frost Giant because the Jabberwock does its own thing. The Frost Giant is just there to run in, smash stuff, run in, smash stuff, and maybe sneeze on stuff and make it slow down. The Frost Giant is a really nice model, and it's a really powerful unit. Nothing more needed to be said, really. Next we have the heroes, starting with the Cursed Sun hero, heavy infantry. Speed 6, melee 3+, defense 5+. 7 attacks, nerve, -15, 130 points. Crush strength 2, individual and mighty. Mount on a horse, increasing speed to 8 and changing hero cavalry for 35 points. Upgrade with Mark of the Reaper, gaining Light Leaf 2 for 15 points. It's not bad. It's not got inspiring, which is a downside, but it's got one of the things that I complain about with these sort of heroes is that it's got 7 attacks, which is only 2 more than your 5, but I feel it's just enough to be worth it. You can take Mark of the Reaper for 50 points extra, so make it 145. Bit expensive, but kind of see the point. A horse makes it 165 points, and the Mark of the Reaper makes it 180. That ain't cheap. It's a hero I'd think about, but I wouldn't go all out on because there's better things to spend 130 to 180 points on. Far better. Next we have the Lord. Hero, heavy infantry. Speed 5, melee 3+, defense 5+. 5 attacks, nerve 13, 15, 110 points. Crush strength 2, individual, mighty, very inspiring, wild charge 1. Upgrade with a brand of the warrior, gaining brutal for 10 points. Snow Fox for 10 points. So that is 120 points, 130 points if you take both upgrades, which same points for Cursed Sun. He's only got 2 less attacks, but he's a bit better. He's got a charge range of 11. Okay, Cursed Sun has got a bit better charge range, I suppose, as that. But the Lord has got very inspiring, so 9-inch range in the inspiring there. Lord's not bad. You get brutal as an option with your 5 attacks hitting on 3s, crush strength 2, cause an extra wound. I'd have him combine charging. I wouldn't have him charging on his own unless he's charging another hero. He's not bad. Attacks are a bit low. Nerves pretty good. Yeah, I think he's not too bad at all. Next we have the Thirgin. Hero infantry. Hero heavy infantry, sorry. Speed 5, melee 3+, defense 5+. 3 attacks, nerve 11, 13, 50 points. Crush strength 1, individual and wild charge 1. Upgrade with a brand of the warrior, gaining brutal for 10 points. Snow Fox for 10 points. It's kind of like any sort of cheapo hero, really. It's characterful and fluffy, but apart from that, no. Next we have the Magus, or Magus, however you pronounce it. Hero infantry, spellcaster rank 2. Speed 5+, speed 5, melee 5+, defense 5+. 1 attack, nerve 11, 13, 90 points. Individual. Familius. When this unit rolls to hit with Lightning Bolt, Bane Chant, Drain Life or Blood Boil, it can reroll all dice that scored a natural unmodified 1. Transfusion. At the start of each of your range phases, you can transfer up to D2 points of damage from a friendly core Bloodbound unit within 6 inch of this unit to a friendly core Drager unit also within 6 inch of this unit. A unit can only be targeted with a single transfusion once per turn. The Drager unit will not take a nerve test for damage taken in this way. So basically it's putting damage on Drager units and healing bloodbound units. So your Drager units, we've got our Drager, that's kind of it. And your bloodbound units, you've got the Fallen, you've got your Reavers, you've got the Mounted Sons of Corrigan, you've got the Jabberwock, surprisingly, you've got the Mage's Conclave, you've got the Magus, you've got the Cursed Sun, you've got Thirgin, and you've got Malgaid the Fallen. So you've got options there. You have options. Comes with Lightning Bolt 4 as standard. Mount on the horse, increasing speed 8, and changed hero Cavalry for 25 points. Maybe. Bane Chant 2 for 20 points, not a bad upgrade. You've got a lot of crushing strength in this force, but having more ain't a bad option. Drain Life 6 for 30 points, only really worth it if you're going to take a lot of Draegor and Bloodbound units. Blood Boil 1 for 30 points, or 3 if it replaces Lightning Bolt. It might be worth it. The thing with the Mages is it's not a cheap spellcaster. It does what it needs to, but it's going to get expensive. That's the problem with it. It is going to get expensive, and you are going to have to really think about what spells you want to take. All of the spells that the Mages can take are useful. It's just for this case, you don't want to take all of them. Maybe 1, 2, and maybe specialise each Mages you take. That's what I do. Next we have the Lord on Frostfang. Hero, large cavalry. Speed 7, melee 3+, defense 5+. 8 attacks, nerve, 15, 17, 190 points. Crush strength 3, nimble, strider, very inspiring, wild charge 1. So minimum, well, charge range of 15. Can take a snow fox for 10 points. It's not bad, points costed. 8 attacks, crush strength 3, very inspiring. He is really, really good. He's a bit expensive, but considering what he does, that's kind of to be expected there. Next we have the Thiergan on Frostfang. Hero, large cavalry. Speed 7, melee 3+, defense 5+. 5 attacks, nerve 13, 15, 125 points. Crush strength 2, inspiring, Frostfang only. Nimble, strider, wild charge 1. Can take Snow Fox for 10 points. It's kind of like the Lord, except not as many attacks. Nerve isn't as good. Crush strength isn't as good. Only inspires Frostfang units, which are expensive on their own. About the same. You are saving 65 points on Thiergan on Frostfang if you take that over the Lord on Frostfang, but the Lord is a bit better. I'd go for the Lord. It's worth the 65 points that, well, the 65 points that you are using, as far as I'm concerned anyway. Next we have the Scald. Hero, heavy infantry. Speed 5, melee 5+, range 4+, defense 4+. 2 attacks, nerve 10, 12, 55 points. Individual, inspiring. Thrown axes, which are 12-inch range, piercing 1. No, it's cheap, inspiring. That's all it's there for. If you think it's a good idea, go all at it. But there's better ways to get inspiring this army. Far better ways. It's got an alright ranged attack, I suppose, but nah, there's better ways to spend your 55 points. Far better. Next we have Lord on Chimera. Hero Titan, spellcaster rank 0. Speed 10, melee 3+, defense 5+. 10 attacks, nerve 17, 19, 220 points. Crush strength 3, elite in melee, fly, nimble, very inspiring. Has icy breath 10. Really good. I have to say, it's got elite in melee, so reroll 1s to hit. It can fly, which it's height 6. It's going to see a fair bit. It's got very inspiring, so good inspiring range. Lightning bolt 10. That could be quite useful. Use that first and then next turn fly over and chew on anything that's in your road. Attacks are a little bit low, maybe. Should have added probably 2 more for the 320 points it is. Its nerve's pretty good, but it can be wavered, which is downside. I would have it on 12 attacks if it were me. Next and finally we have the Snow Troll Prime. Hero monster. Speed 6, melee 3+, defense 5+. 5 attacks, nerve 13, 16, 120 points. Crush strength 2, inspiring, troll only, nimble, regeneration 5+, vicious in melee, wild charge 1. So charge range of 13. It's not bad. Attacks are a little bit low, but it's got crush strength 2, regeneration, inspires trolls, so if you're going troll heavy, maybe take 1 or 2. Other than that, consider, but don't think it's the main attraction of this force. Next we have the unique units. There's only one, and it is Maglidai of the Fallen. Oh, goddamn Mantic. Hero heavy infantry. This is one of the heroes you get with the last expansion they did for Dungeon Saga. It's the woman that's got I think 2 whips, that's got like a fur hood, and she's painted sort of blue. Speed 7, melee 3+, defense 5+. 7 attacks, nerve, dash 15, 175 points. Crush strength 2, elite in melee, individual, inspiring, and resolve, and mighty. Here's legacy. Once per game, before this model is given an order, it gains speed 10 and fly rule until the end of the turn. You do have to say you're using it though, obviously. Speed 10 and fly, that's not bad. 175 points. It's 40 points. No, it's 45 points more than a Cursed Sun. It's only 50 points less than a Lord and Frostfang. I'd go for the Lord on Frostfang more. I can sort of see the point of taking her. At least you're gaining flight and speed 10. You're not gaining nimble. Oh no, yeah, individual. So okay, fine. 7 attacks, hitting on 3s. Crush strength 2. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. A little bit expensive. She doesn't feel that special to me. That's the problem. A lot of the other unique people either is so bad they're memorable because they're so bad, or so good and memorable because they're so good. She is just all shades of she's there, is all I can say to that. Just all shades of she's there. They are an army that's basically a sledgehammer. They are there just to charge in as quick as possible, and you will do what they tell you to. They do not care what is in the way, as long as they can hit something hard, and that will do. They do have ranged attack in the form of magic and their war engine, and some of the cavalry units do have ranged attacks, but they aren't really a ranged force. When I say they're a sledgehammer, I mean they're a sledgehammer. Most of their units are just there just to get in there as quick as possible. And that's the thing with this force. You want them to get in there as quick as possible. They do have units for objective-based purposes, however. You've got the Drago, which is kind of the zombie-esque unit. They have weak defense and weak melee capabilities, but if you legion them out, they've got so much nerve, it's ridiculous. You've got some units that force this sledgehammer term home really well. The biggest example of this is the Jabberwock. The Jabberwock is there just for, oh, you've got some units that died, but you've caused a lot of wounds on enemies. Charge the Jabberwocks in. In fact, for your monster / Titan slots, you could just take Jabberwocks, and I think that'd be a really, really nice thing. 165 points for it. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I think of this force. It is one, I think it's possibly the simplest and easiest force to go for in Kings of War 3rd edition. You don't really need to bother with the range phase. You just have a lot of close combat things. Rush them in. There you go. If they die, you've got a few more to go. Some of them are a bit expensive, but considering what they do, you kind of expect it. These are really powerful close combat, and if you're expecting range force, you come to the wrong place. So that's it for now. Goodbye.